Hey, BassGeek here, and today we're going to be talking about my favorite September baits. I know it's a little late, but they're going to work, trust me. What is going on, geeks, man? I hope you guys are out there catching them. I hope you're having a good time. I know fishing might be a little slow. It's still in September right now, but it is getting close to fire time. So anyway, let's talk about number one, and that's a drop shot. And I'm going to tell you what I do a little bit different with a drop shot this time of year, and then I'll give you a few baits. Hey guys, remember, watching the videos, best way to support the channel. But if you're going to go buy some stuff, make sure you click on those links down in the description or on BassGeekFishing.com. There's a tackle warehouse link there. It don't cost you a dime, but it does help the channel out. Buy a little gas money to get out here and do more fishing and filming. I appreciate you guys. The drop shot that I like, I rig up a little bit different, especially this time of year. A, because normally the water levels are dropping, and B, that means the bass, as the water cools, even if the water levels aren't dropping where you are beginning to come out and suspend just a little bit. So one of the things that I love to do this time of year is mimic shad. You know, everybody talks about shad, and I like to mimic smaller than average shad. So some of my favorite baits are simply small shad profiles like the Damiki Armor Shad. Now, the other modification that I make is I'll give it about a 3 to 4 foot leader this time of year, because the bass love to suspend out around these drop-offs this time of year. Now, like I said, that was something that I've had 2 or 3 different people talk to me about over the past few years. But if you watch the Saginaw Bay MPFL, you'll see that almost every single one of the guys were using a 3 or 4 foot leader. And so that's a pretty good idea even where you're at when the bass are suspended. So this time of year on a drop shot, I love something like this, especially in clear water. It's great. You can go with any color you like, but this is the Armor Shad from Damiki. This is also what we Damiki rig with. Another bait that I love to throw, this is a little bit longer bait, and this is a new one. I cannot wait to try this out. This is a killer color right here too. This is clear shad, and it's the Sonar Minnow from Yum. That's another great one. Nose hook that bad boy and yummy to a bass honey. One of the last things that I like to do is some sort of finesse. You can go with a robo worm. This is a Bass Munitions. You can go with, you know, pretty much anything that you like, but a good finesse worm. I like the worms a little more around the largies. So I want to give you bank anglers a little bit of a tip. I want you to think about the length of your rod when it comes to a drop shot from the bank, and the amount of grade or the percent of grade that you're fishing. So I'm fishing out here and I'm coming down the bank, so that drop shot is coming up and away from the bottom. As you guys are fishing from the bank, that drop shot is just kind of contouring and staying, maybe depending on the contour of the bank, just a few inches above the bottom. So a longer rod will actually keep that a little bit higher, and keeping your rod tip up just a little bit higher. You know, like I always say, you don't want to go past, say, an 11 o'clock position, which is going to be about right here. But the great thing is you want to make sure you use good finesse, you know, sharp hooks. Those small hooks, you can just lean in and reel up and it'll set the hook itself. Like on this one, something else that I can recommend, this is a #1 hook by Gamakatsu, and the thing about it is I can rig this through the nose and get a little more action when I'm not around a lot of cover, or I can Texas rig it like this and come through pretty much whatever cover I want. Another thing I love in September is a soft jerk bait. It can be a Fluke. There's a number of them. I'll show you some of my favorites here in just a second. And of course, as always, there's links in the description. But this is one of my favorite baits in the world this time of year, just because of the different ways that you can throw this bait and you can work it. Oh, and I just got bit. And right now, to be honest with you, like, you want to work this bait super fast. It's not a, you know, twitch, twitch, let it sink, twitch, twitch, let it sink. Now, if you're over deeper water and you know for a fact it's a deeper laydown, yeah, sure, absolutely do that. You can absolutely use this on a great little light bait casting setup, but a spinning reel will work just fine. You've heard me say it 1,000 times. Trust me, if you watch this channel, I talk about this little bait a ton. And when it comes to my soft jerk baits, this is my go-to. This is the Strike King Caffeine Shad. I like it because it's a little heavier, got a little more salt in it, and I can get it down a little bit deeper. My second favorite and everybody's go-to is the good old Fluke, man. This is the Super Fluke. I like the Fluke, regular Fluke, probably a little bit better. But this is a standard. It is a go-to. This is great for shallow applications. Pretty much almost floats on the water. Great bait. This is one I've been working with from 304 Lures. Man, I love that tail right there. Look at the cup on that tail. When it goes down, you got it belly weighted and it kind of spirals. That tail has some really unique action. Now, this is kind of a hybrid between the other two baits, and that's a killer color. All right, so now we're going to talk topwaters, and there's really only two topwaters that I use in the month of September. This is one of them, a good old buzzbait. You guys know I love them. You really should go back if you haven't watched the buzzbait video. I do a incredibly in-depth buzzbait video. Go check it out. The other is this little bait right here. Look, guys, I am in love with the Boyo. This is the Spook Junior, the one knocker. The Boyo up shallow, it's such a small profile bait in the fall. I'm telling you, go pick them up. But this right here, by the way, Lornette Custom Paint Jobs, this has been a killer this year. Look at that bad boy. So you want to make sure you throw a topwater walking bait. A walking bait up shallow, you know, it's one of the few times you'll really see me walk a walking bait fast is this time of year when I'm throwing it up shallow. A lot of stop and goes, but when it first hits the water, especially in clear water, I want that bait moving so the fish has to react. When it comes to topwaters, you know that I'm a huge Spook fan, man. This is a Spook Junior, and this is what I was going to tell you about. This is the Super Spook Boyo. Look at the size difference in that. I'm telling you, that right there is going to be a monster when they're chasing those small bait fish. Speaking of small bait fish, check that bad boy out. This is a Boyo, and this sucker has caught some bass. Let me tell you, look at that color. That is the bluegill fry, and I'm telling you, that puppy right there, it's been getting munched. The next thing that I love to throw is a jig. This time of year, guys, if you haven't seen my short, if you haven't seen the video, I'm going to do a video talking about it. The water's dropping, the full moon and the new moon. These crawdads love to molt around September and October during the new moon, the bigger ones. Around the full moons, fish the smaller jigs, a little more finesse jig. You're going to get a lot of bites. They're going to be quality bites. They're going to be big bites. Trust me, this is one heck of a bite. As that water drops, so do the crawdads. If they don't drop this time of year where you're at, they're still going to be molting. Guys, these are some of my favorite jigs that I like to use this time of year. The 3/8 ounce. They come all the way up into the 3/4, but this is the War Eagle Heavy Finesse Killer Ball Head Jigs. A finesse swim bait kills this time of year. I love throwing a finesse swim bait. You fish it low and slow, and I mean slow. I like to keep the rod tip up just a little bit, and you can see how slow I am fishing this bait. Now, any kind of swim bait is going to be great. I love a couple of different ones though, and doing a couple of different things with them. Don't get me wrong, matching the hatch is great, but let me tell you, sometimes those bass want a steak instead of some finger food. So go just a little bit bigger. A lot of times this will help you stand out in a crowd. The last swim bait mod is an underspin. An underspin helps you stand out even when you are trying to match the hatch, and it's kind of like a little Alabama rig. Be sure you check out the video where I do some really cool mods to my favorite underspin. So you all know my favorite finesse swim baits. This is the Ramsey Baits, This is the 3.75. That's one of my favorite colors in some clear water or some slight stained water. That is the silver shad. Great looking color there. Next, 3.3 or 2.8. You know I love my smallmouth magic. That is a great color from Kitech. I also like their easy shiners. They are great. Now Ramsey makes some rib swim baits. I've got to get some of those and check them out for you. See what I think about them. All right, guys, that is pretty much it for my September baits. I'll show you a couple of little things. Everything will be down in the description as far as rod, reel, line, the whole 9 yards. My favorite stuff that I like to throw them on. I'll also have my favorite grouping of baits. So 2-3 baits for every single one. If there's a trailer, of course, it'll all be down there. Blah, 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 blah. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'm telling you, there's some big stuff happening, some big things happening. I hope you guys are all good with it, okay with it. We're not going to change who we are. We're doing exactly who we are. Look, I'm 48-year-old. I'm too old to change for any damn body. Let's just put it that way. But like I said, I always appreciate the heck out of you guys supporting me. Thanks for watching. Make sure you join that hashtag 100% Watch Club. Questions, comments in the comment section below. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you guys ring that bell so you can get the notifications when these videos come out. Just subscribe and you don't get notifications anymore. Got to click the bell. Ring-a-ding-ding. That sounds like a dinner bell to me. Old fat boy getting hungry. All that being said, as always, you guys rock.